Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Brahma Mira Striparan Takare, Banu Shashi Bhumi Sita, Buddha Sha Guru Sha Shukra, Shani Rahu Keteva, Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu, Om Sumaye Namaha. Well, greetings and welcome to another episode of the KozmicKev100. This is your weekly astro video zine where we take the planets, the constellations they're in, and the houses divided up by 12 and make some sense of what that could indicate in our life, what those tendencies are. I would love it if you subscribe to this weekly video, share it with a friend, keep your comments coming. It's wonderful, and share what your understandings are of astrology. Most of this forecast is going to be the common Western tropical, but I do start out with sidereal Vedic because that's the actual constellation where we look in the sky. And so Jyotish, which is what Vedic astrology is known as, is a science of light. We get these lights from the heaven, and that these lights are what help illuminate our path. They illuminated sailors at night traveling. They illuminated travelers on land while they were going places. They illuminated the path for the three wise men to find the Christ child. They are continuously illuminating us, and we want to be able to share that illumination in the most non-judgmental, educated, and deepest place possible. Okay, so this is for Friday, January 13th, Friday the 13th, yes indeed, which is a lucky day, I want to say, and it's a day about love. It's a Venus day, and I know there's going to be some good love today. I just know that. And looking at the moon, we'd see it in the constellation of Virgo. So if we're looking in the sky to see where the moon is, here in Northern California, we've been just inundated with bountiful rainfall, and I'm so grateful for that, but there has been some destruction. We've had a lot of fires over the last 10 years, and we've really lost a lot of these trees that protect our watershed and keep all the soil in place. So there's going to be erosion. There's been some sadness amidst this, but there's also a rejoicing because the land is becoming fecund. It's becoming moist again. Now, this part of Virgo that the moon is in is a lunar mansion known as Hasta. Now, Hasta is the hand or the fist, and it has a relationship to Jyotish in that palmistry. Even in Jyotish, we'd look at fingers and say, that the 5 fingers represent the 5 elementals, if we count space as well as air, fire, earth, and water, or the 5 senses: sight, taste, smell, touch, and hearing. All of these things relate. Now, Hasta is a place of the sky where Mercury gets exalted, and it's ruled by the moon. Both the moon and Mercury rule our thinking. We'd say the moon has an intuitive and emotional one, but moon is about the mind. Moon is the 6th chakra, right here, folks. Giving us intuition, giving us vision. And the moon is also the quickest moving graha, the quickest moving of the planets. It goes through every sign of the zodiac in about 29 days. And so, or 28 days. And within this, we see the 27 nakshatras, the lunar mansions, which Hasta is one of them. Hasta is about industry. It's about working with your hands. Its ruling deity is known as Savitar. Savitri is another guise of the sun, and it's about purification. We get purified. The sun means a lot to us. It really does, the light of day. We're very visual people. And so when we don't have light, we can't see that well. We can see the stars, and the moon gives us some light too. but it certainly is a lesser light. It's like a night light you have in your house. But at the same time, the moon regulates plant growth. It rules menstrual cycles in women. It is a part of the tides and life itself. And since our brain floats mostly on water, the moon rules that as well. So here we have Hasta, which I consider to be one of the more kapha in Ayurveda nakshatras, because it's earth, Virgo, but it's the moon, water. Water and earth make kapha. And I've known some hostas that are really big. They have they're dealing with weight issues and stuff. And so, part of that is keeping it moving, having a modified diet, not eating too many carbohydrates or bad oils, and having the right kind of herbs in your diet that help digestion and stimulate things. Hasta brings industry. So Hasta is also about someone who really supports other people. Hasta people, I've had Hasta people work for me and do service for me, and they're incredible. You're looking for somebody to help you in life. Hasta people are good. I mean, the previous nakshatra yesterday that we had, Uttara Falguni, those people are giving good servants as well. So we see this in Virgo. Western astrology, yes. Finally, you're like, yeah, it's a Libra moon today and it's a Friday, folks, so there is this kind of Venetian quality of, I love love, I want love, but we still have Mercury retrograde, okay? And Saturn hasn't quite yet moved into sidereal Aquarius, which it will be in on January 17th, and when that happens, the whole energy of Saturn is going to change. It's going to be one of more connection. And that's what we really need to be whole as people, is connection. When we had a lockdown of isolation, we hurt ourselves so bad in so many ways. And yeah, I know, it was to protect, come on now, folks. Go start reading newspapers in Scandinavia, in Ireland, in countries that value free speech more, that aren't as run by artificial intelligence and big pharma. You're going to find that there was a lot of BS and a lot of unnecessary things that went down just so that the largest labs can make more money and feel a sense of safety. And they're still going on. I can't even believe it for students. Unnecessary medicine to get yourself in school. Let's be real, folks. Let's be real. You're not protecting anyone at this point, except the pocketbooks of the most elite. And I think that's what has to change. We need to have compassion for our weakest links. And even if you agree with the 2020 narrative and you're still stuck there somehow, or 2021 narrative, we know. Most of us know at this point, that we've been duped. And since we're in Capricorn, Capricorn is in Western astrology is about let's be real, and we're also moving into sidereal Capricorn. So let's be real with each other. We're going to go real right now, sign by sign, through your horoscope. Starting with you, Aries. So greetings, Aries. One thing about you is that you're much more open to the truth now than you ever were before previously in your life because of Jupiter. Jupiter is expanding knowledge, it's expanding good fortune in your life, and it's putting good people in your life, so you've got a lot to be grateful for. Now you're a Mars-ruled sign, and Mars just went direct this week in the Western sign of Gemini, but whether you were looking at this through the lens of Jyotish, where most of you would be Pisces, and Mars is in the actual constellation of Taurus, it still doesn't matter. It's in the third house, and third house is a karaka, an activator for Mars for you. So now that Mars went direct yesterday, things should be going forward. They should be moving forward in your life, and in a good way. In your neighborhood, among your siblings, in the information you're getting, in your communities. And this is a career time for you. This is the last week of Capricorn in the Western Zodiac, so we have this blend of going from career time into your social life and making social connections, which are super important. Like I said, Saturn this week on the 17th goes into Aquarius, so your social life gets activated, and Venus is there too. So Venus and Saturn work well together. You can meet a very lovely person at a party. I met a lot of lovely people at the last parties I've been to. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. So Venus is in your midheaven. Venus is in your career house as well. So working on how you can make your job position better. You know, a lot of businesses have suffered during this time period, and we really need more beauty. We need more light to come in. And also, one of the things about Venus is about justice too. Venus is about accepting everybody. The most open love is where, you know, was when Venus is in Pisces, where it's exalted, and that's like loving everybody and not being obsessed with anything, but being free. Love is like a drug. Oh, it feels good to love. You know, it just feels good to love. And Taurus is sort of like a feel-good sign. You know, I mean, it's good. You can sometimes get into the stubborn or the greedy place, but actually, some of my Taurus friends are some of the most generous people I know. Some of the most kind people I know. It just depends on where you go, and it also takes faith. Know that there's a law in the universe of give and take and flow, and giving allows you to receive more. You know, when you fast, after you fasted, you're going to want to eat more. You know, if you drink a lot, you're going to need to pee more. So you might need to take that into account as well. And the other thing is securing what's good, preserving what's good, and this is a time period where you're doing your karma to the public, helping others. All right, so greetings, Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope. So, here we have Mercury, and Mercury's retrograde, but Mercury does go direct on the 18th. So, well, let's take a look at when that happens then. So, the 18th is a Wednesday, which is a Mercury day, and it happens at 5:12 in the morning. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, the 18th, Mercury's moving forward, and on a Mercury day. That's pretty auspicious as far as I'm concerned. So, and I personally don't think this was that bad of a Mercury retrograde. I mean, this is actually the second time I'm recording this show. But you know, as an astrologer, when these things happen, we just kind of like relax and we just go, you know, I'm not surprised. You know, we had to reschedule, things were going to be done. Well, let's think about it. And that's really what Mercury wants you to do when it's retrograde, is just think about it again. Don't just like move brazenly forward. Yeah, I know it gets a little aggravating. So is Capricorn, you know, for an Aquarius, it's like, well, it's 8th house stuff, you know, so there's this transformation, and it's a lot of things that aren't in your control, and so you kind of have to relinquish control. And this is sort of last week where you'll be relinquishing control, although if you're asking for help, 8th house periods, other people are available to help you. So if you need help from someone else, now's the time to ask for it, okay? All right, and Mars is in your 1st house direct, so go Gemini. If you're going to be getting in shape as a resolution, I'm like saying start your resolutions Wednesday, because we got Saturn in Aquarius, Mars is direct, you know, everything's like, Mercury will be direct, everything's going to move forward. That's the best day to start, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And it's also the Sun just moving into sidereal Capricorn, so you know, that in itself says we're going to make things real. All right, greetings, Cancer, and welcome to your horoscope. So, you know, the moon goes from Libra to Capricorn this week. In that space, what happens? You know, we're learning from our relationships with other people, basically. Yeah. And for you in particular, it's about, we start this weekend, we're a little more focused on the home. By Sunday, we're focused more on our children. On Monday, and then we move into working on our health as we go later on in the week. A lot of people, you know, Mercury retrograde in the midwinter, it's like, you know, health issues are kind of difficult, but that's going to move forward. I mean, I think Cancer will get a lot out of Mercury going direct, especially since most of them are sidereal Geminis anyhow. And so, you know, in your mental state, you know, the state of the mind, thinking about and emphasizing on your own brilliance. A lot of historians are Cancers. They know about where we came from. And if you don't know where you came from, it's harder to know where you're going. And I see with this cancellation of history and books being banned by both the left and the right, they're both like, everybody's kind of sensitive right now. And it's like, okay, let's just put this all out on the table to look at. And let's not be so mean to each other. And let's also let kids be kids, okay? And not push anybody into things that are regulated to adult behavior. And emphasize those traditions that are good, rather than be obsessed with the things that are bad. Because when we're obsessed with the things that are bad or changing what's bad, we end up hurting what's good while we're on the way doing it. Okay? I think you understand this. And so, upliftment and treating everybody like family, that's the Cancer gift. Keep up with that. Well, hello, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. So for Leo this week, it's like we start the weekend, it's kind of social and sort of fun. And I know this is like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, this celebration this weekend. And so, and Dr. King was a beautiful man. He had a dream that everybody got along, and he definitely called out the economic system in this country, say, well, we've got capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich, because, rich people get grants from the government to move and do things. There is sort of a stacked deck out there. It's not to say that it's hopeless, because I'd never say that, but there is, and Dr. King got a lot of people together. There were people, from all, there were Christians, Catholic Christians, Jewish people that worked in the civil rights movement, people that were of more European complexion and identity, and everybody worked together. And that's what he wanted. He wanted everybody just to hang out and get along, and I like that. I like that vision. I want to be perpetuating Dr. King's vision. I think you do too, Leo, because Leo's about leadership. It's about running things, kind of being the boss of your own shit, and it's really about kind of letting your light shine. Sole purpose. So, what's Capricorn time do for Leos? Well, it makes you look at how hard you have to work, get organized, be a better coworker. Can't be my way or the highway. The whole ego thing. This doesn't work for you. You're having a transit through a Dustana house. This is not an easiest place for you to be right now, and it could affect your health in some ways. Leo likes a lot of sun, and there has not been a lot of sun lately. And to be honest with you, one of my Vedic teachers says, from the 13th of December through the 13th of January, it's kind of in the northern hemisphere, it's sort of a sluggish time. So those of you visiting South Africa and Chile and Australia, yeah, you're rocking with the sun right now still, it's like, yay, long days and all that. But for the other 90% of us, it's just sort of like, we're just trying to make it, folks. We're just trying to get through this thing we call winter. And at the end of the week, Sun goes into Aquarius, which is your 7th house, so you're going to feel this ease. And even with Saturn going into your 7th house, what I see is that you're going to be able to establish better things. Saturn's already in your 7th house, but there's going to be better career opportunities are going to begin to pop up for you. And you might go through a little bit of depression and stuff this year, but it's okay. Get the support you need. When you ask others for help and you show yourself to be vulnerable, that's when the magic really happens, when people show up for you. All right. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. So we're starting with this moon going through your 2nd house. Mercury's still retrograde. So, this weekend thinking about family and what their needs are. Thinking about your finances. If your finances have been low, use what little you have and maybe make a little generous donation. It doesn't have to be a big generous donation, but if you have only 10 bucks left and you give $1, it's not going to make that much difference. You know, that's all I'm saying. And it will make a difference, because suddenly you'll probably find another $10 bill after that. That's kind of what happens. So, you know, Virgo, you analyze and you serve others. Capricorn's overall been a good sign because it allows you to get right here in your heart. And that's where the magic happens. And actually, this has a better intelligence right here than this does. This is confusing. We prize being smart. And I was kind of like a nerd kid. I was a little bit like Arnold Horseshack and Welcome Back Kotta. Oh, Mr. Kotta, I know that. You know, but really, that stuff isn't important. How loving and kind can we be to each other? That's the ultimate intelligence, Virgo. Are we analyzing the matters of our heart? You know, are we allowing our heart to be purified? Hanging out with pets, hanging out with children, you know. Children have, especially under 7, you know, there's just this lovely innocence about them. You know, certainly under 2, very innocent, very pure. And identifying with that, kind of like all we care about is what's immediately needed. It's sort of beautiful. It's sort of simple. We could do well by getting back into that space. Well, greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. So Capricorn time is about the home life. It's about family, it's about mother, it's about father, older adults, your tribe. Who do you consider your people, your friends? How do they make you happy? One of the things I like to emphasize as an astrologer is that every one of us out there watching, we are all every single sign of the zodiac. You're like, no, what do you mean? You know, well, this is what I mean. It's that when you have a birth chart, every single sign of the zodiac was represented in it. So even if you say, I don't like this sign, all you're saying is, I don't like this part of myself. Okay? So we need to embrace those parts of ourselves that we've alienated ourselves from. You know, I didn't like my teeth. I had really crooked teeth as a kid. I had braces for a while. It took forever. I ended up getting them off early because I couldn't stand the pain and cavities and all these things could get underneath it. But I love my teeth. I love my imperfect, non-Hollywood smile. I had imperfect vision, and so I had to wear glasses. So I could easily say, I don't like my eyes, you know, because they're not perfect. But you know what? I love my eyes because of what I am able to see and able to read. And so we have to take in and learn to love our imperfections. That's what needs to happen for us to have real healing, real wholeness. And so Libra's kind of aware of every little imperfection. They're like, oh, they always want to get along. I mean, yeah, kind of. They also like to be the devil's advocate. When everybody's saying white, they're the ones that go black. And they get all turned off over little injustices. But there's also that sidereal Virgo, very finicky side to Libras. Am I not right? Yeah. They won't show it in public because they're trying to get along. Unless they're the later ones, you know, born after the 15th, the sidereal Libras. Or after the 16th, rather. All right. Well, we started with a Libra moon, so that was nice for you. Greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, we are going to have the moon in Scorpio this week, which of course is considered to be a debilitated moon. That happens Sunday and Monday, and in the earliest part of Tuesday morning. So, what I see for Scorpio is, you know, they work well with Capricorn. Capricorn's your 3rd house, and it's sort of the neighborhood. It's writing and being thoughtful about what you're putting down. And this week we're having that transition where the sun goes into sidereal Sagittarius, out of sidereal Sagittarius into sidereal Capricorn, so things get real serious. And, you know, and it's eventually going to go into Aquarius, and that's your 4th house. So it's like addressing limits at the home. I call that period, you know, from January 20th through the 17th of February. That's cabin fever time for Scorpios in the Northern Hemisphere. It's like, oh my God, I've been home too much. You know, I need to get out. You know, I want to break out. Mars, now direct. Going to help, Scorpio. It's going to help. But it is in the 8th house, so it is other people's energy. So you're really sensitive to other people's energy. You really are sensitive to world events right now. And you really acknowledge the hostility of people that choose to be blind. People choose to be blind because it was their comfort zone. They made a decision, and they're not willing to admit they were wrong. Think of like, how do corporations, when they invent a car that, you know, has a bad thing, there's a recall, but do they apologize to the public? Do they have a commercial on TV? We are so sorry for making our airbags unsafe at Chrysler Corporation or whatever one does. No, they do not do that. Okay? Do you expect Big Pharma to do that? I kind of do, but they're not going to do that. Do you expect artificial intelligence, Microsoft, Apple to do that? I'd like them to do that, but they're not going to do that, folks. Because justice falls largely on the largest laps, and they're positioning themselves to stay in power. But you know what the real power is? Power is in transparency. Power is in good alliances with each other. And so right now, I don't trust them. They're not being transparent. So if you're not being transparent, we can't have a good alliance. There's something else going on in the background. I think you understand this as a Scorpio, about all these kind of little casuistry things. Pluto also in Capricorn, that's the 3rd house. And you know, 3rd house is 8 from the 8th. So I'd say Scorpios, there's a lot of transformation going on. But what really makes things good for you, going back to the heart, it's like, hey, even though you're a big corporation, I could still love the humanness behind all that. But I also would like to say, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you in. To say, how does that feel? Deceiving the public just to make money temporarily. How does that really feel for you? Yeah, if you're shallow, it doesn't really matter. But if you're here on soul level permanence, let's work these things out. Let's create better things to create more love and peace in the world. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So good to be with you again. So yeah, it's been about the money. It's been about family. It might be about, you know, going to the dentist, dealing with, you know, getting new glasses, anything dealing with 2nd house stuff, neck and shoulder, you know. Okay. So we want things to be better. You know, Jupiter's now in Aries. That's kind of fun. It's in your heart. So like what I see for Sagittarius is there's this expansion of the heart. Who to watch in 2023? Sagittarius, yeah, because they are going to have heart-opening experiences. Some of them are going to have children. And yeah, well, I know that not all kids are being healthy. There's a lot of environmental and obligatory mandated medicines that might be affecting the lives of children. There's no question. We have to look at that and see where the responsibility lies. And really, largely, the one thing we can do about obligatory corporate power and stuff is we can resist it and not buy into it and not do it and say we're standing strong. Or even if you want to get it, stand strong with the other people. They've got the right not to do that. You know, just because I buy bananas doesn't mean I'm going to make every friend of mine buy a banana and say you're a bad person. You won't get a passport because you don't have a banana. You know, only people with bananas get passports. This is how ridiculous this whole thing is. Bananas are healthy. You know, how dare anybody say bananas aren't healthy? Yeah, but that person ate a banana, and they're not as sick as that person that didn't eat a banana. Well, that person just died who ate a banana. Well, it's not the banana's fault. It's got to be something else. Just be really careful. You know, all my red-blooded American friends, regardless of gender, color, creed, religion. We want maximum freedom, and we want to defend the rights of others to make their own choices. We hope they don't make bad choices that hurt other people. That's all. All right. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Last week for you to frolic in your sign. I got any Capricorn friends having birthdays this week? I'm sure I do. I know Saul Henson's having a birthday, so happy birthday to you, Saul. My friend in Vermont, Cynthia St. Ange, or Indy St. Ange, she's having a birthday. Oh yeah, right here in good old Chico, California, my friend Stacy's having a birthday. I think so. Happy birthday, Stacy! And happy birthday to over there in North Carolina, my friend Travis. Travis Hunter. Yeah. Happy birthday to you, boy. It's good. I'm having friends having birthdays, and I'm glad. Oh, there's even more. Eileen in Grass Valley. Eileen is turning, I think she's turning 42. Happy birthday, Eileen. And she also, you can check out, she does an astrology, Eileen the Mellow Astrologer. She does strictly Western, and she's a very gifted astrologer. So I'll put a little big up to Eileen this week. And just all of you who are just doing the best you can in these times. Let's raise our spirits. Let's look at Saturn. Saturn, moving into, for most of you, it'll be the sidereal second house. Some of you, it'll be the first house, sidereally. Because you Capricorns having birthdays this week, most of you are Capricorns in sidereal Jyotish as well as Western astrology. And so it's starting to get serious now, folks. This is the week where we have to address what's our long-term goals. What are the obstacles that seem to hurt us? Who are the older people, the elders in our life? What are the rules of the game that we want to follow, and who are we following? And ultimately, there's a sense of renewal that's going to come too. Being that Saturn moving out of your first house, second house, even third house in some cases, there's kind of this lightness of being that's overall going to come to all of us this week. And you're going to be feeling a little lighter, you're going to be feeling better with Mars direct, Mercury direct, Saturn in now sidereal Aquarius. And, thinking of Aquarius, greetings and welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so Saturn's been in your first house, and that just makes things a little bit slower going, but it also makes things responsible, it makes things thoughtful, it makes things real. And it makes it's a weighted journey. Saturn's like a heavy planet, and it's got all these moons. It's got these other planets around it, and it's got rings. And all of these things symbolize things. See, Saturn gives you only jewels or dust. And that's a quote from evolutionary astrologer Stephen Forrest, who was a big proponent of the jab, but I don't know if he is now. Oh, God. Yeah. But you know what? His heart was in the right place. It was like he wanted to help people. And I think that's good. I like the heart, but there's danger. When people won't back up a product that they sell and let you sue them if something goes wrong, that shows right there's danger. It's not safe. Okay? It's not safe. If it was safe, they would have backed off of that. That's the facts. And some people got, placebos or things that didn't really work, so that's kind of the good news too. Not everybody's going to get hurt. I like that. Anyhow, we're looking at you, Aquarius, and you're a big picture. You're the big picture sign of the zodiac. You're the one who's concerned about all humankind, and you also kind of represent end times. End game. I think of Aquarius as sort of like, it is the strong wind that blows everything away. And this is sort of like the final of your 12th house week, you know, of letting go of everything, of acknowledging losses, and then we get into first house by next weekend, and you're going to be completely renewed, you know. Sun will be up longer, it won't be quite as depressing, you know. Aquarius is an air sign, so it's kind of got this lighter energy than Capricorn. Capricorn's a little bit heavier, but both Capricorn and Aquarius are really intelligent. That's one thing I know, because there's no wisdom like age-old wisdom, and there's no wisdom like the wisdom that comes from learning through the hard knocks, you know. And as a Saturn-ruled sign, yeah, I know there's Uranus, but Uranus is an outer planet, folks. You know, that's not affecting you personally. It's your relationship to the outer world. Yeah. See, that makes it, that's what the difference is. And Aquarius is obsessed with the outer world. But, you know, don't get me wrong. Old school works in new school times. Greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. All right. So last week of Sun in Capricorn, Sun transiting your 11th house. Who are your friends? Who are people that have helped you? What's your social life been like? Have you been able to activate that? Have you been able to meet in person with people, even when people are sick? Are you masking up, or are you just meeting outside and keeping a distance? You know, I think that's good, you know, being healthy, to be outside and see each other. That's the way, that is the way, you know, that is the way we want to be. Spiritual, you know, you've got that spiritual emphasis. So this is kind of the week where we transition from our social life to our life of like letting go, taking our losses, and realizing that we need to take on a deeper spiritual identity. And we also need to move towards a greater sense of forgiveness. Now, one thing I'd say is like, you know, obviously I have opinions and stuff, but I've made mistakes. I've been deceived by other people. I've lost thousands of dollars from being deceived by other people. But were hard lessons, but the lesson takes me back to compassion. It's like, you know what? I know how humiliating that is, and I want to love you anyhow, where you're at. I think that's how Pisces ethic is. I want to accept everybody, bring everybody in. I also want to be real with myself. One of the problems Pisces has is being too enigmatic or non-specific. And when you're non-specific, you kind of feel like you're in the safety zone. But you're also like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter what you say at that point. Whereas like Virgo, the opposite sign, is like clinically precise. This is what's going on. Now, when you want to receive directions from somebody, do you want the one that's all splayed out, kind of like, well, it's kind of like this, do whatever you want, or it's like, no, turn the switch on your left-hand dial in the upward position. Okay, now turn the volume level pedal up that's on your right hand to the number 7 position. Okay, now turn the fan on and turn the light on. You know, that specific helps you do the right thing in the right order. And so that's one thing that you can do, Pisces, to kind of balance out that splayed out, oh wow, everything, you know, into like, no, this actually works. And one of the ways you can look at this too is like, think of like Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, famous Pisces, he got into the specifics. He wrote them down. This is the formula. It goes like this to this to this. And when you do it that way, everything works to your benefit. Anyhow, you've been lovely being with me, and I look forward to being with you next week when I say Gung Hei Fat Choi. And I appreciate your comments. Please don't hesitate to like, ring the bell notifications, subscribe. I'd love to be with you next week. If you want to tune in to KZFR.org on a Wednesday morning, 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific time, you can hear my radio show, Bohemian Express, where I go into an all signs 20-minute horoscope. I appreciate all of you, and with that, Om Shanti, 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 Om Tat Sat.